Have you ever pulled in the parking lot of your job and just had the urge to just pull off and never come back? I know I have. Some days you just don't feel like doing it. But let's just say you actually make that decision. You say, I'm tired of this job, and you just quit. What is your next course of action? And it's okay if you don't know the answer to that, because that's what we're going to talk about today. Today I'm going to teach you how to quit your job the right way. But if you're new here, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Jelan Abrams, and this is the Unknown and Talented podcast. The first thing you'll have to do is change your mindset. Instead of actually complaining about this job, telling everybody how much you hate the job, you have to be grateful. In one season of your life, this job was a blessing. Right now, all your bills, your lifestyle, all these things that you actually have is because of this job. This job is paying for your lifestyle. So to complain about it doesn't make sense. There was one season of my life that I worked in a warehouse. It was terrible. When it was cold outside, it was cold inside. When it was hot outside, it was even hotter inside. The warehouse, I don't recommend that kind of job for everybody. Some people, you're good at it. For me, it wasn't for me. I need to be inside, in the AC, in a cubicle, nice and just chilling. But the reason why I brought that up is because right now, I'm not working in that warehouse. And my one goal was to get out that warehouse and get a job where I'm not in the warehouse. I'm in somewhere that's actually comfortable, that has AC, that has heat. And I actually have a job like that now. So now to go on and complain about this job when I realized that in another season of my life, I was praying for something like this, that doesn't make sense. So that's what you have to think about. Think about the last season of your life, you were praying to be in the position you are now, and to now complain about that same situation doesn't make any sense. What you have to do is actually figure out how you're going to escape that life, right? You were able to escape the last season you were in to get to this season. Now you have to figure out how you're going to escape this season to get to your next season. And you also have to realize that complaining won't change your situation. You can complain all you want in that break room with your coworkers about how much your supervisor sucks, how much you hate those rule changes, how much this customers suck. That's not going to change what you're actually dealing with. That's just going to waste your energy. You're using all that energy to complain when you can use that energy to actually research something that can help you escape where you're at. Complaining doesn't change stuff. Complaining might make you feel good, get off your chest, but it doesn't change anything. And the point of this is to change this. So what you have to do is change your mindset from complaining to actually making solutions to your problems. The next question we want to ask is why? Why do we want to quit? Is it just because we're unhappy? Or is it just because we want to sit down and watch Netflix all day? That's not going to happen. As adults, we're going to have to work. So we have to find something that's going to actually make us happy, but also make us some money. Give me my money. I never got to do that trend, so I want to put in a video, but give me my money. I don't know if I did good or not, but yeah. But we want to find something that's going to give us money and also make us happy. So with the rise of social media and everybody just using their phone for everything, there's so many different ways to make money other than just working a 9-to-5. So side hustles are ways to make money on the side of what you already do. So the first thing is your job. This is the most important thing you're going to have right now. Keep your job. Now find these side hustles. The more side hustles you have, now you want to be able to build that up. So now you can trade in the income from your job to go to these side hustles. But what we need to do first is find a side hustle. That first side hustle to be able to start getting that side money. So the first thing that we can do, we can start off with freelancing. What freelancing is using your talents and exchanging them for money. So they have websites like Fiverr, Upwork. Those are two websites where you can legit search different things that people need. And if you're talented at those things, now you can make a page and offer your services for how much ever you want to charge. I've used Fiverr in the past for website designs, for logos. They also have writing. So if you're a great writer, you can offer to write people's essays for them. There's so many different things on there. I'm not going to do all the homework for you because you still have to do homework. But these are ways that you can make money on the side on top of your other income. Look at both of those websites, see what you can do, and see if you can do freelance work. The second thing you can try is e-commerce. Basically what e-commerce is just selling things online. So that's like using websites like Etsy, eBay, even Amazon. But don't be scared and think that these are things that you have to create yourself and sell them. They have so many different options to sell other people's things. So I've actually tried e-commerce. It was a great experience for me. What I did, I used to sell books on Amazon. So basically what I used to do, I used to go to thrift stores and find books. Book section is usually 50 cents, a dollar, 150, sometimes even $2, but they really weren't much more than that. And all I did was go through the store and scan the barcodes and seeing if I can make a profit on this $1 or $2 that I'm spending selling it on Amazon. And you'll be surprised, people actually buy used books. And I was surprised. I sold a book one time for $300. I couldn't believe it. I was in Goodwill, and Goodwill, the thing about them is they're very sneaky. They honestly scan all the books ahead of time. They do the same thing. They're into the e-commerce game. And another thing about Goodwill, no, they are not a non-profit. So every time you're dropping something off at Goodwill, just know they out here pocketing that. They're not doing no good. They're pocketing that money. But forget all of that. But basically, Goodwill scans the books beforehand. So me knowing that, I was still going to go in there, scan, and see what I could find. I ended up going into the kids section, and there was this book, this big book. It was like an arts book. So this book didn't have a barcode. The way I found out how much money this book was worth, I had to actually look in the credits of the book. So each book will have a USBN. And basically, I looked at that number, I typed it into my program, found out it's selling for $300. I bought that book for $1.69, and I ran up out of that Goodwill. And that book ended up selling like 3 months later. But there's money out there. There's money out there. Check out the e-commerce game. It's great. Like I said, Etsy, eBay, Amazon. There's money out there that's waiting to be picked up. If I never went down to check out that book in that little kids bucket, I wouldn't have made $300 off of spending $1.69. So look up some e-commerce stuff. They have a bunch of YouTube videos on how to break different things down. Let's make that money. So let's just say you have 0 talents. Freelance ain't gonna work. And let's just say you're terrible with computers and all this digital stuff. E-commerce is not gonna work. Well, another option you have is ride sharing apps and delivery service apps. Those things gotta be easy. All you gotta do is get the app on your phone. Everybody got a phone. Everybody knows how to order Uber, order Lyft. All you have to do is go on the other side now. Now you're driving people around. You making money that way. And the cool thing about this is that this doesn't stop what you're doing. You can legit turn these things on right after you finish your job and start picking people up, dropping them off to make money. But the cool thing about this is, though, if you don't like people, just do the delivery services. You don't understand the delivery services that pull up in front of my house. I'm thinking somebody's about to rob me. And I'm not realizing this is Amazon coming in. These cars be beat down. So if your car is not clean, don't even worry about it. Amazon is hiring, okay? I remember this car, I think it was a Honda Accord, pulled up in my driveway. And I was so confused. I'm like, why are you in my driveway? First of all, and who is this person? And then they come out, they got the vest on, they got a package in their hand, dropping it off and leaving. I said, yo, this is different. I didn't know y'all's out here hiring anybody. So if you need a job, Amazon is hiring, and you could deliver in any beat down car you have. So don't be ashamed. Right now it's hot. You don't got no AC. Yo, get those delivery services. They hiring. All you need to do is just have a car that works. All right. And you good to go. And sure, I think they even do bikes now too. So if you don't even got a car, use a bike. You could deliver some stuff. But there's definitely options over there to fund that side hustle. And lastly, probably my favorite one is content creation. That's the coolest way to make money. That's the way everybody wants to make money. The problem with content creation, this is the hardest way to make money. If you really want to make money fast, don't start off with content creation because it's going to take you a minute to get there. If you're a fan of TikTok, you have to get 10,000 followers on TikTok to even start to even think about making money on TikTok. On YouTube, you got to get to 1,000 subscribers, 400,000 hours of watch time. That's 165 days of watch time. That's insane. And then for Instagram, I don't even think they're paying people on Instagram. So y'all just posting for no reason. You get 100,000 followers, that means zilch, because Instagram is not paying you a dime. And lastly, this podcast that you're listening to right now, you have to get 500 weekly listeners. 500 weekly listeners before you think about getting paid. So making money being a content creator is hard. After a while of doing it for a while, yes, it pays off, but it takes time. But luckily for you, and you're listening to this and you're listening to me, I do a lot of research. So I actually came across something called UGC. It's user generated content. Basically what that is, there are companies out here that are not the Nike, the Adidas, and all these big brands. They are brands on the come up, and they're looking for people to actually make content for them. So they can post on their TikTok or they can post on their Instagram because they're trying to get a buzz. They don't have the bag to throw at these influencers and all these people with all these followers. They want people like you or me that has a small following so they actually can make some money. So you don't have to be the top of the top, but as long as you know how to talk, you have good camera presence, you actually are content creative, you know how to do things, you can make money today just by contacting these brands. So I've actually came across a few companies that actually help creators like you and me find these companies that are looking for user-generated content. We have a company called Coley, another one called Billow, which I've actually tried, and I'll put my affiliate link right here or in the description if you're listening. Also, Trend.io. Those are all three pretty cool companies that actually help you get connected to them. What they're going to do, they're going to take the little cut and then give you, what's left, but that's how it is. But the more and more you do it, you can actually contact these companies yourself and actually make money that way. So this is probably one of the cooler ways to do it because you're still creating content. You don't have to be good at anything else, and you don't have to have a big following, which is these days, like if you don't have a following, what do you have? But now you have a way to actually make money without that following, which I think is pretty cool. It's a little learning curve. I'm not going to lie. It's a learning curve to be able to write scripts and stuff like that, but it's pretty cool. You can make money being a content creator, which you enjoy anyway. The next step to finally leaving your 9 to 5 is to use your free time wisely. Once you quit your job, you're going to have nothing but free time. Think about a Saturday. Your Saturdays are going to be every day. Like you're going to have nothing to do, but you don't want to use this time that you have nothing to do to watch Netflix, to scroll. We want to be productive because we want to think about us spending 8 hours a day at a job that we don't like. Spend that same time on something that is important to you, something that you can make money and also be happy. So the way we actually start in this habit is to use the time we have now. So you might have to wake up a little earlier for work. Let's say you wake up an hour earlier than you usually do. Use that time to study up on side hustles, study up on that business you want to start. When you get up from work, instead of just turning on that TV and chilling, take an extra hour to do some studying on, like I said, the side hustle. If you want to do the Uber or Lyft, use that extra time to drive Uber or do Lyft. Use every single second of the day to be productive. We can't have a favorite TV show. I know at work, everybody's like, yo, I love watching this. I love watching that. You can't have a favorite TV show. You can't afford to have a favorite TV show. If you have an extra hour to watch TV, you have an extra hour to be productive in a side hustle or studying a business. We don't have favorite TV shows over here. We're working. Okay? Even think about lunches, for example. Most of us have our lunches. If you have a 30-minute lunch, I'm sorry. It's terrible. I understand, but it's terrible. You can't do nothing in 30 minutes. So if you have 30 minutes lunch, omit this. But if you have an hour lunch, it only takes you about 15, 20 minutes to eat. 40 minutes should not go into scrolling. 40 minutes is going into planning that escape. So use every time you have wisely to plan that escape. Don't just waste it on things that don't make sense because now you're still going to be stuck. Time is going to be going. You're still going to be stuck. And also weekends. Weekends is the time to turn up because we're so stressed out. We can't use the whole weekend to turn up. Use the weekend to be productive. I remember it was one Saturday. I had the house to myself. My wife was out partying, and I said, yo, I'm going to be super focused. I could have been chilling. I could have been on the Netflix watching all the shows. I said, I'm going to be super focused. And that's what y'all have to do. Every second y'all have, make sure y'all are super focused. When God wants us to move, he's going to make it extremely uncomfortable where we're at. So it might be uncomfortable to wake up an hour before work to get stuff done. It might be uncomfortable to stay up an hour after work to get things done. But which uncomfortable do you want? Do you want the uncomfortable to be stuck at a 9 to 5 that you hate? Or do you want the uncomfortable to be following your dreams by waking up early, by staying up late, by not using all your free time to watch nonsense on Netflix? That's a decision you have to make. Because you click this video for a reason. You click this podcast for a reason. You click this because you want to find out how I can quit this job. And we're not going to just quit. We're going to quit and never go back. Lastly, you want to plan your exit. You want to put yourself on a deadline. I would say plan out like 6 months to a year to when you're going to say, all right, I'm ready to actually leave. But don't start that clock until you're actually working. So don't say, I went hard for a week, now the clock starts. Go hard for a good month. And then once that month, you feel like you actually been putting in that work, now start that clock because it's not going to be easy. Finding a job is hard. People out here struggling to find a job. They finally find a job. They stuck in it and they're happy. So to actually be able to leave that job is going to be even harder. And to not go back is going to be extremely hard. So the reason why I decided to even talk about this topic is because I actually did this myself. I worked in a warehouse. I hated working in the warehouse. We had 30-minute lunches. It was hot. It was cold. And this is during a time where we had COVID. So I was in a truck with 7 other guys that didn't believe in COVID and decided not to wear their masks, and they're coughing. So not only am I hot and I'm wearing a mask, I can't breathe. I'm around 7 other guys that are coughing and don't want to wear their mask. And did I say it was hot? It was hot. And we had 30-minute lunches. So it's not like I even could duck off and chill for a little bit. 30 minutes and I'm back in that truck. It was terrible. So one day I went to work, pissed, tired of this job, and lunch came around. I went to Wendy's because that was right down the road. And I had 30 minutes to eat, so I couldn't even sit down and eat. I had to legit eat in the car on the way back to work. And I got in the car, I got in the highway, and I saw the exit for work, and I just kept driving. When I got home, I texted one of my friends at work, and I said, it was nice meeting you. It was a pleasure. And I never went back. I quit the job with no plan, just in my feelings, and decided not to go back. I was able to survive for 2 months because also at this time I had a book business. I was selling books online and, money was coming in. It was pretty cool, but I was able to survive for 2 months and then I had to go back to work. So, it was cool. But I just wish I would have planned it out better. I wish that when I left that job, I didn't have to go back. I was legit on my own, paid for all my bills and good, but I didn't have that opportunity. So now I'm back working today. So I made this video so y'all can learn from my mistakes. Learn from someone that actually did it, had the urge to leave and left. And I survived for 2 months. I think that's pretty cool. Survived for 2 months. Paying for my rent. I was not hungry. I wasn't starving. And I still had money when I started the job, but I know it was getting empty. But I was able to survive for 2 months. But I don't want y'all to go through that same thing because the minute you leave and then go back is different. Having that freedom of not working for somebody is completely different. And I want y'all to feel that as well. But if y'all do decide to leave prematurely, just know you can always go back. Like there's enough jobs out there for you to go back. Like I said, I left the warehouse and I'm back in the job now. It's not like I was just on the street after I left. You have the 2 weeks notice. That's what that 2 weeks notice is. The 2 weeks notice to say if anything goes left when I'm out there in the streets by myself, I'm keeping it clean over here so I can always come back. So you can always go back to that job. So don't be afraid to do it, but also plan it out, because like I said, the minute you leave and you got that freedom, you're not going to want to go back. Like I'm here. I'm working. I'm doing what I got to do. But I don't want y'all to be in that same position of getting that freedom and not being able to stay out. But that's about it. That's all I got for y'all today. The main thing is to plan your escape. Don't be caught in your feelings, and make that money on the side. Make that little side pocket go up. Use that side money to start that business. And then once you have that business, you roll in the dough. But and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to leave. You can leave, but just know you might be back. And just know when you put that 2 weeks notice, they might fire you early. So just make sure you got the checks you need. Don't try to put that 2 weeks notice because you need that last check. They might give you the boot. So just be careful on that. But I do appreciate y'all listening. Hopefully y'all learned something. Hopefully you don't have to quit your job yet. You don't have to quit your job yet. You can do both. Use that time wisely. But my name is Jelan Abrams. This is Unknown and Talented. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all rate the podcast. Make sure y'all tell all y'all friends about it that's been complaining with you in the break room that wants to quit. Let them know, listen to this. Instead of complaining, be like, yo, stop complaining. Listen to this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Share the podcast. That's how we grow. That's how I can make more videos. That's how so my content could get to 400,000 watch hours or 500 listeners on podcasts. And then I can make the money. Give me the money. But that's it, though. I appreciate y'all getting here. Again, my name is Jelan Abrams, Unknown and Talented. We'll see you next week.